I stood at the kitchen table, watching Kate prepare for the annual tea and coffee festival. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, a wide, genuine smile stretching across her face. The early morning light filtered through the window, casting a warm glow over the room and highlighting the anticipation in her features. "Don't forget to call when you get there," I said, trying to mask the slight anxiety I felt. She turned to me, her hair falling softly around her shoulders, and wrapped me in a warm embrace. Her hair smelled of vanilla shampoo, a scent that always brought comfort. "Of course, darling," she replied, giving me a quick kiss on the lips. "I'll be back before you know it." The festival was a special event for Kate. Every time she spoke about it, her eyes lit up, as if she were talking about something magical. It was her world, filled with aromas, flavors, and discoveries. She had always been passionate about coffee, and this annual event had become a highlight of her year, a place where she could indulge her interests and meet like-minded enthusiasts. As she left, the house seemed to grow quieter, a faint emptiness settling in. I couldn't help but feel a little uneasy, though I brushed it off, convincing myself it was nothing more than the usual pre-event nerves. Little did I know, that day would change our lives forever. The morning passed slowly. I tried to keep myself busy with work, but my thoughts kept drifting back to Kate. I imagined her wandering through the festival, sampling different brews, and attending workshops. She had told me about the various events scheduled for the day, including a masterclass by a renowned barista from Seattle. His name was Jason, and he was known for his innovative brewing techniques and charismatic personality. Kate had been particularly excited about his session. As the hours ticked by, I grew restless. I decided to take a break and head to the local park. The fresh air and change of scenery might do me some good, I thought. I grabbed my jacket and keys and stepped outside. The park was only a short walk away, and the familiar path through the trees was comforting. I found a bench near the pond and sat down, watching the ducks glide effortlessly across the water. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was a message from Kate. "Having an amazing time. Jason's workshop was incredible. Can't wait to tell you all about it. Love you." I smiled, feeling a wave of relief wash over me. She sounded so happy, and her enthusiasm was infectious. The rest of the day passed uneventfully. I returned home, made myself a simple dinner, and settled on the couch with a book. As evening approached, I started to anticipate Kate's return. The house felt too quiet without her presence, and I missed her laughter, her voice, and the way she filled our home with life. It was around 9 o'clock when I heard the front door open. I put down my book and got up to greet her. Kate walked in, carrying a tote bag filled with goodies from the festival. Her cheeks were flushed, and she looked radiant. "Hey, how was it?" I asked, stepping forward to hug her. "It was amazing, Michael," she said, her eyes shining with excitement. "I met so many interesting people, and Jason's workshop was fantastic. He has this incredible passion for coffee, and he taught us some cool techniques." I smiled, genuinely happy to see her so enthusiastic. "I'm glad you had a great time. You'll have to show me what you learned." "Absolutely," she said, her voice brimming with energy. "But first, let me tell you all about it." We sat down in the living room, and Kate began recounting her day. She talked about the different stalls she visited, the various blends of tea and coffee she sampled, and the interesting conversations she had with other festival goers. She spoke at length about Jason, describing his workshop in vivid detail. I listened, captivated by her passion and the way her face lit up as she spoke. As the days went by, I noticed that Kate often mentioned Jason in our conversations. She talked about his innovative brewing techniques, his charismatic personality, and the ideas he had shared during the workshop. At first, I didn't think much of it. Kate had always been enthusiastic about coffee, and it was natural for her to be excited about meeting someone who shared her passion. But gradually, I began to sense a change. Kate seemed more distant, often lost in thought. She started spending more time on her phone, and there were moments when she would step out of the room to take a call, something she hadn't done before. I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss, but I tried to push those thoughts aside, convincing myself that it was just my imagination. One evening, a few weeks after the festival, I came home from work to find Kate sitting on the couch, her phone in hand. She looked up at me, a slight blush coloring her cheeks. "Hey," she said, quickly putting her phone away. "How was your day?" "Good," I replied, trying to gauge her mood. "Yours?" Pretty
This was
good,
not a race I
she
had
said,
signed up
but there was a
for,
hesitation in her
nor one
voice.
I could
I
opt
sat
out
down
of.
beside
However,
her,
the
reaching out to
determination
take
and
her hand.
perseverance that running
Kate,
had
is
instilled
everything
in me
okay?
were now
I asked
tools
gently.
I would
You
wield
seem
in
a
this
bit
unexpected
distracted
battle.
lately.
The stark
She
reality
looked
of
down
my
at our
situation
hands,
set
then
in,
back up at me.
bringing with it
There
a
was a
clarity
flicker of
purpose.
something in her
I was
eyes.
about to
Guilt,
embark on a
perhaps,
different kind
or
of
uncertainty.
marathon,
Michael,
one
I
that
need to tell you
required
something,
resilience
she
in the
began,
face of
her voice
adversity.
barely
And
above a
though the
whisper.
road ahead
My
was
heart started to
uncertain, I
pound,
knew
a
I
cold
wouldn't
knot
have
of
to face
fear
it alone.
tightening in my chest.
team, my
I've been
second
talking to
family, was
Jason,
about
she
to show me
continued,
the true
her
meaning
words
of
tumbling
support
out in a
and
rush.
solidarity.
We've been
Gathering
texting
my
and calling
team
each
around
other
me,
since the
I
festival.
felt the weight
At
of the
first it
world
was
on
just
my
about
shoulders.
coffee,
We were
but
more than just
it's become more
teammates.
than that.
We were a
I haven't done
tightly knit
anything
family,
physical, I
bound
swear,
together
but
by our
I have
shared
feelings
love for
for him.
running
The
and an
room seemed to
unspoken
spin
bond that
around
went
me.
deeper
I
than the
struggled
sport
to
itself.
process what
As
she
I
was
looked
saying,
into their
the
expectant
betrayal cutting
faces,
deep.
I
Kate,
knew that what I was
why
about
didn't
to
you tell
share
me
would hit
sooner?
hard.
I
It
asked,
was
my
not
voice
just
strained
my
with hurt.
battle, it
I
would
didn't want to
become
hurt you,
ours.
she said,
With a
tears
deep
welling up in
breath,
her eyes.
I
didn't
began to
plan for this
speak,
to happen.
my voice
I love
steady,
you,
but the
Michael,
emotion
but I don't
palpable.
know what to
I've
do.
recently
I'm
received
so
some news that has
confused.
turned
At
my
that
world
moment,
upside
I
down.
felt my
I
world
started,
shatter. The
pausing
woman
to
I
collect my
loved,
thoughts
the life
and
we had
muster
built
the courage
together,
to continue.
everything seemed to
I've been
crumble.
diagnosed
I
with
wanted to
cancer.
yell, to cry,
The
to
words
demand
hung heavy
answers,
in the
but
air, a
all I
stark
could do was sit
contrast
there,
to the usual
numb with shock.
light-hearted
We
banter
need
that
to
filled our
figure this
gatherings.
out,
The
I said
silence that
finally,
followed
my
was
voice
deafening.
trembling.
A
We
mix of
need to
shock,
talk,
confusion,
to understand
and
what's
concern
happening.
painted their
Maybe we should
faces as
see a
they
therapist,
processed the news.
someone who can
But
help us
it
sort
was
through
the
this.
immediate
Kate nodded,
outpouring of support
tears
that
streaming
took me
down her
by
cheeks.
surprise.
I'm
Words
so
of
sorry,
encouragement,
Michael.
firm
I
pats
never
on the
wanted
back,
to hurt
and
you.
even a few
As I held
teary
her,
eyes made
trying
me
to
realize
comfort
the
her
depth of
despite
our
my pain,
connection.
I
One
realized
teammate
that our
broke the
journey was
silence.
far from over.
What do you need
This
from
was
us?
only the beginning
We're
of a
here for
long
you,
and
every
difficult
step
road,
of the way.
one that
It
would
was a
test our
sentiment
love and
echoed
commitment
by each
like
member
never
of the
before.
team.
But
Their
I knew
determination to
that if there
support
was
me
any
as
chance of
clear as
saving our
day.
marriage,
We
we
discussed
had to
practical
face this
ways that could
challenge
help,
together.
from
The days
accompanying
following
me
Kate's
to
confession were some of the
appointments
hardest
to
of my
helping with
life.
day-to-day
The initial
tasks.
shock
But it was
slowly
their
gave way to a
unwavering
deep,
presence,
gnawing
the
pain that
assurance
settled
they
in my
would
chest.
stand by
I felt
me
like I
through
was
the
living in a
highs and
fog.
lows,
My
that
thoughts
offered a
constantly
comfort
circling
no
back to
words
the
could
image of
convey.
Kate and
In that
Jason,
moment,
their
my
connection
fears and
overshadowing everything
uncertainties were
else.
met with the
Kate
force
and I
more
decided to
powerful
see a
than I could have
therapist
ever
to help us
imagined.
navigate
The
through this
collective
difficult
strength
time.
of my
Our
team.
first
And
session
while
was
the road
scheduled
ahead
for a
was
Thursday
daunting,
evening.
I knew I wouldn't
As the
have
day
to face it
approached,
alone.
I found
The
myself growing
transformation from
increasingly
teammates
anxious.
to a support
What would we
system
say?
was nothing
How would we
short of
begin to
remarkable.
unravel the
After
tangled
sharing my
mess of
diagnosis,
emotions and
the
betrayal?
dynamics of
On
our
the day of our
relationship
appointment,
shifted
we drove to the
profoundly.
therapist's
No
office in
longer were we
silence.
just a group
The
of
tension in the
individuals
car was
brought together
palpable.
by our passion
Each of
for
us
running.
lost in our
We had
thoughts.
become
When we arrived, we were greeted by Dr. Linda Harris, a calm and composed woman in her early 50s. She led us into a cozy, dimly lit room and motioned for us to sit on the plush, comfortable couch. "Thank you for coming," Dr. Harris began, her voice soothing. "I know this is a difficult time for both of you. Why don't we start by having each of you share what's been going on from your perspective?" Kate and I glanced at each other before she took a deep breath and began to speak. She recounted how she met Jason at the festival and how their initial conversations about coffee had slowly transformed into something more personal. She spoke about the excitement she felt, the guilt that followed, and the confusion that had plagued her ever since. As she spoke, I listened intently, trying to understand her feelings even though they hurt me deeply. When she finished, Dr. Harris turned to me. "Michael, how has this situation affected you?" I struggled to find the words to express the turmoil inside me. "I feel betrayed," I began, my voice trembling. "I never imagined that Kate would turn to someone else. I thought our marriage was strong. I feel like I'm not enough, like I've failed somehow." Dr. Harris nodded sympathetically. "It's important to acknowledge those feelings. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and when it's broken, it can feel devastating. But it's also important to understand that infidelity often stems from deeper issues within the relationship or the individuals involved. This doesn't mean you've failed, Michael. It means there are things you both need to address together." The next few sessions were focused on exploring these deeper issues. We discussed our communication patterns, the stresses and pressures we both faced, and how we drifted apart without even realizing it. Dr. Harris guided us through exercises designed to rebuild trust and foster open, honest communication. One evening, after a particularly emotional session, Kate and I sat in the living room, sipping tea in silence. The air was thick with unspoken words. Finally, Kate broke the silence. "I've been thinking a lot about what Dr. Harris said," she began, her voice tentative, "about how we both contributed to this situation. I know I hurt you, Michael, and I'm so sorry. I never wanted to cause you pain, But I also realized that I've been feeling lost for a long time. Jason was a distraction, a way to escape the emptiness I felt inside. I looked at her, seeing the raw vulnerability in her eyes. Kate, I've been thinking too. I realize now that I took you for granted. I got so caught up in my work and my routine that I didn't see how you were feeling. I'm not excusing what happened, but I understand better now. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of our realization settling between us. I want to make this work, Kate said softly. I want to rebuild what we had, to find a way back to each other. I want that too, I replied, reaching out to take her hand. But it's going to take time and a lot of effort from both of us. As the weeks went by, we continued our therapy sessions and worked hard to reconnect. We started setting aside time each week for date nights, rediscovering the things we loved about each other. We talked more openly about our fears, our hopes, and our dreams. Slowly, we began to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. However, the shadow of Jason still loomed over us. Kate had promised to cut off contact with him, but I knew it wasn't easy for her. She missed the excitement and the newness he had brought into her life. One evening, I found her staring at her phone, a pained expression on her face. "Are you okay?" I asked, even though I knew the answer. "I'm trying," she said, tears filling her eyes. "I know I made the right choice by staying, but it's so hard. I miss him, and I hate that I do. It feels like a part of me is still drawn to him." My heart ached at her words, but I understood. Healing wasn't a linear process, and I couldn't expect her feelings to disappear overnight. "I'm here for you, Kate," I said gently. "We'll get through this together, but you need to be honest with me about how you're feeling. We can't heal if we're not open with each other." She nodded, wiping away her tears. "I know. I promise to be honest. I just need time to let go." Our journey was far from over. There were days when the pain and doubt seemed overwhelming, when the thought of what had happened threatened to tear us apart again. But there were also moments of hope and connection, glimpses of the love we once shared. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Kate turned to me with a small, hopeful smile. "Remember our first date?" she asked. "We sat in this exact spot talking for hours." I smiled, the memory warming my heart. "Of course I remember. You wore that blue dress and we talked about everything under the sun. We were so young and full of dreams," she said wistfully. "I want to find that again, Michael. I want to rediscover those dreams with you." "Me too," I said, taking her hand in mine. "We've been through a lot, but I believe we can find our way back to each other." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, I felt a flicker of hope. Our path was uncertain, and the wounds were still fresh, but we were committed to healing together. And in that moment, I knew that no matter how difficult the journey ahead, we would face it side by side, rebuilding our love one step at a time. Our efforts to rebuild our marriage were arduous but promising. Kate and I found moments of genuine connection and rediscovery. However, as much as we tried to focus on each other, the specter of Jason still lingered. I often caught myself wondering if Kate was thinking about him, even when she was with me. It was a struggle to push those thoughts away, but I knew that our healing required trust and patience. One evening, a few months into our therapy, Kate came home with an unusual brightness in her eyes. "Michael, guess what?" she said, her voice bubbling with excitement. "What's up?" I asked, smiling at her enthusiasm. "I got an offer to participate in a coffee competition in Seattle," she said. "It's a huge event, and the winner gets a feature in a major coffee magazine. It's an amazing opportunity." My heart sank at the mention of Seattle, knowing that it was Jason's city, but I didn't want to dampen her excitement. "That's incredible, Kate. You've worked so hard for something like this. When is it?" "In 3 weeks," she replied. "I know it's short notice, but I think I can do it. It means a lot to me." I took a deep breath, forcing myself to push past my insecurities. "I'm proud of you, Kate. This is a big deal. I'll support you all the way." As the competition approached, Kate threw herself into preparation. She spent long hours perfecting her recipes and techniques, often consulting with colleagues and friends. I could see how much it meant to her, and I did my best to be supportive, even though the thought of her going to Seattle stirred up old fears. The night before she left, we sat together on the couch, her head resting on my shoulder. "I'm nervous," she admitted, "not just about the competition, but about going back to Seattle." "I trust you, Kate," I said, trying to reassure both of us. "We've come a long way. Just remember why you're there and what we're working towards." She nodded, giving me a grateful smile. Thank you, Michael. I promised to stay focused. The next morning, I drove her to the airport. We hugged tightly before she headed to the security checkpoint. Good luck, I whispered in her ear. I love you. I love you too, she replied, tears glistening in her eyes. I'll call you every day. The days passed slowly while Kate was away. True to her word, she called me every evening, telling me about her progress and the interesting people she met. She mentioned Jason once, saying he was also participating in the competition. I could hear the tension in her voice when she spoke his name, and it took all my strength to stay calm and supportive. On the day of the competition, I couldn't concentrate on anything else. I waited anxiously for her call, wondering how she was doing and hoping that she could resist any temptations that might arise. Finally, my phone rang, and I answered it with a racing heart. Michael, I did it! Kate exclaimed. I made it to the finals. Can you believe it? That's amazing, Kate. I'm so proud of you, I said, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. Tell me everything. She went on to describe the intense competition, the judges' feedback, and the camaraderie among the participants. She sounded genuinely happy and focused, which eased my worries a bit. As the days passed, Kate continued to advance in the competition. Her excitement was palpable, and I could hear the joy in her voice every time she called. But there was also a tension, a subtle undercurrent that I couldn't ignore. Finally, the day of the final round arrived. Kate called me early in the morning, her voice trembling with nervous energy. Today's the day, she said. I'm so close, Michael. I can feel it. You've got this, Kate, I said, trying to infuse my voice with as much confidence as possible. Just be yourself and show them what you can do. Thank you, she whispered. I couldn't have done this without your support. The hours dragged by as I waited for news. Late in the afternoon, my phone rang again. It was Kate. I answered it with bated breath. How did it go? I asked. I won, Michael, she exclaimed, her voice filled with triumph. I won the competition. I let out a shout of joy, feeling a rush of pride and relief. That's incredible, Kate. I knew you could do it. We talked excitedly about her victory and the plans for the magazine feature. She sounded over the moon, and I was genuinely happy for her. But as we talked, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still unresolved. How's everything else? I asked cautiously. Have you seen Jason? There was a brief pause before she answered. Yes, I've seen him. He was very supportive, and we talked about the competition. But that's all, Michael. I promise. I wanted to believe her, and I could hear the sincerity in her voice. I trust you, Kate. I know this hasn't been easy. It hasn't, she admitted. But I know what I want, Michael. I want us. I want our marriage. This trip has made me realize that more than ever. When Kate returned home, we celebrated her victory with a small gathering of friends and family. She was beaming with pride, and I couldn't help but feel hopeful about our future. We had faced a significant test, and she had come through it with her commitment to our marriage intact. However, the shadow of Jason still lingered in the background. I knew that moving forward required us to address this lingering issue head on. One evening, a few weeks after her return, I brought it up. Kate, we need to talk about Jason, I said gently. I know it's uncomfortable, but we can't ignore it. She looked at me, her expression serious. I know, I've been thinking about it too. We sat down together, and she began to speak. Seeing Jason in Seattle made me realize how much I had romanticized our connection. It was exciting and new, but it wasn't real. What we have is real, Michael. Our history, our love, our life together. That's what matters. I believe you, Kate, I said, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. But I also think we need to set some boundaries to protect our relationship. We must be both comfortable and secure moving forward. I agree, she said, nodding. I'll cut off all contact with Jason. It's the only way to truly move on. Hearing her say that brought me a sense of relief and renewed hope. Thank you, Kate. I know it's not easy, but it means a lot to me. We continued our therapy sessions, focusing on rebuilding trust and strengthening our connection. We worked on communication, making sure to address any issues or insecurities that arose. Slowly but surely, the shadow of Jason began to fade, replaced by a growing sense of security and closeness. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Kate took my hand in hers. We've come a long way, haven't we? She said, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and gratitude. We have. I replied, squeezing her hand, and I'm so proud of us for getting through this. I love you, Michael, she said softly. Thank you for believing in us, for standing by me even when things were tough. I love you too, Kate, I said, feeling a deep sense of contentment. We're stronger together, and I believe our future is bright. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, I felt a renewed sense of hope and commitment. Our journey had been challenging, but it had also brought us closer and made us stronger. We had faced our fears and insecurities head on, and in doing so, we had discovered a deeper, more resilient love. And as we sat there, hand in hand, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, united by the love and trust we had worked so hard to rebuild. Months had passed since Kate's triumphant return from Seattle, and our relationship had grown stronger. We had faced the turmoil head on, and with the help of therapy and unwavering communication, we were beginning to rebuild our lives together. However, life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. One crisp autumn afternoon, I decided to surprise Kate by picking her up from work. She had been working long hours at the cafe, and I thought it would be a nice gesture to take her out for dinner. As I pulled up to the cafe, I saw her through the window, chatting with a customer. Her smile was radiant, and I couldn't help but feel proud of how far we had come. I waited outside, leaning against the car and watching the colorful leaves swirl in the breeze. A few minutes later, Kate emerged, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. "Michael, what are you doing here?" she exclaimed, giving me a quick hug. "I thought I'd surprise you," I said, kissing her on the forehead. "How about dinner at that Italian place you love?" "I'd love that," she replied, beaming. "Let me just grab my things." As we drove to the restaurant, we talked about our day, laughing and sharing stories. It felt good to have these moments of normalcy, where the shadows of the past seemed distant and unimportant. When we arrived, the restaurant was buzzing with activity. We were seated by a window, the warm ambiance, and the smell of delicious food making us feel instantly at ease. We ordered our favorite dishes and settled into a comfortable conversation. As we were enjoying our meal, I noticed a familiar face entering the restaurant. My heart skipped a beat when I realized it was Jason. He was with a group of people, laughing and chatting as they made their way to a table across the room. I felt a knot form in my stomach, the old insecurities and fears rushing back. Kate followed my gaze and saw him too. Her expression tightened for a moment, but then she turned back to me, her eyes filled with determination. "Michael, let's focus on us tonight," she said softly. "We've come so far, and I don't want anything to ruin that." I nodded, taking a deep breath. "You're right. Let's enjoy our evening." We continued our conversation, but I couldn't shake the feeling of Jason's presence in the room. It was as if a dark cloud had settled over our table. I tried to push it aside, focusing on Kate and the wonderful evening we had planned. Halfway through our meal, Jason approached our table. "Kate, Michael, fancy seeing you here," he said, his tone friendly but with an edge of surprise. Kate looked up, a polite but guarded smile on her face. "Jason, what a coincidence. How have you been?" "Busy as always," he replied, glancing at me briefly. "Congratulations again on your win in Seattle, Kate. You deserved it." "Thank you," she said, her voice steady. It was a team effort. There was an awkward silence, and I felt a surge of protectiveness. "We're just having a quiet dinner," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. "Of course," Jason said, nodding. "I didn't mean to intrude. Enjoy your evening." He walked away, and I felt the tension slowly dissipate. Kate reached across the table, taking my hand in hers. "I'm sorry, Michael," she said softly. "I didn't expect to see him here." "It's not your fault," I replied, squeezing her hand. "We can't control who we run into. Let's just focus on us." We finished our meal, the initial unease gradually fading as we talked and laughed. By the time we left the restaurant, I felt a renewed sense of commitment to our relationship. We had faced another unexpected test, and we had come through it together. As we drove home, Kate turned to me, her expression serious. "Michael, I want you to know that I'm committed to us." Running into Jason was a surprise, but it didn't change anything. "You're the one I want to be with." "I know, Kate," I said, feeling a deep sense of relief. "I trust you, and I'm committed to us too." The next day, we had a therapy session with Dr. Harris. We told her about the encounter with Jason and how it had made us feel. She listened intently, nodding thoughtfully. "It's natural to feel unsettled when confronted with a reminder of past issues," she said. "But what's important is how you handled those feelings. You both did a great job of supporting each other and focusing on your commitment." I felt the old fears creeping back, I admitted. But Kate reassured me, and it made a big difference. That's a sign of the progress you've made, Dr. Harris said. It's important to acknowledge those feelings and address them together, rather than letting them fester. As we left the session, I felt a renewed sense of hope. We had faced a significant challenge and emerged stronger for it. It wasn't just about rebuilding trust, it was about continuously supporting each other through the ups and downs. Life gradually returned to its new normal. Kate's victory in the competition brought new opportunities, and she began working on a series of projects that excited her. I focused on my work, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. One weekend, we decided to take a trip to the countryside, just the two of us. It was a chance to get away from the city, to reconnect with nature and with each other. We rented a cozy cabin near a lake, surrounded by tall pine trees and serene landscapes. On the first morning, we went for a hike, the crisp air and the sounds of nature rejuvenating us. As we reached a scenic overlook, Kate turned to me, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "I feel so alive here," she said. "Thank you for bringing me." "I'm glad you're enjoying it," I replied, wrapping an arm around her. "I love seeing you this happy." We spent the rest of the day exploring the area, laughing and talking about our dreams for the future. In the evening, we sat by the fireplace, sipping hot cocoa and sharing stories. "Michael," Kate said softly, breaking a comfortable silence, "I want to renew our vows." I looked at her, surprised but deeply touched. "Really?" "Yes," she said, her eyes filled with emotion. "We've been through so much, and I want to celebrate our love and commitment. I want to start fresh with a renewed promise to each other." Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded. "I'd love that, Kate. It would mean the world to me." We spent the rest of the evening planning a small, intimate ceremony. It wasn't about erasing the past, but about acknowledging our journey and reaffirming our commitment to each other. A few weeks later, we stood together in a beautiful garden, surrounded by close friends and family. As we exchanged our vows, I felt a profound sense of peace and joy. We had faced challenges that had tested our love, but we had emerged stronger and more united. "I promise to love you, to support you, and to stand by you through all of life's challenges," I said, my voice steady with conviction. "And I promise to cherish you, to be faithful to you, and to always communicate openly and honestly," Kate replied, her eyes shining with tears. As we sealed our vows with a kiss, I knew that our love had been reforged in the fire of adversity. We were not the same people we had been before, but we were stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected. As we walked hand in hand into our future, I felt a renewed sense of hope and excitement for the journey ahead. The vow renewal ceremony was a turning point for us. It was more than just a symbolic gesture. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. We were determined to keep moving forward, leaving the past behind while building on the lessons we had learned. In the weeks that followed, we settled into a comfortable routine. Kate's passion for her work continued to grow, and she was soon approached to co-host a series of coffee and tea workshops. She was thrilled about this new opportunity, and I was excited to see her so engaged and enthusiastic. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, I came home to find Kate in the kitchen, experimenting with new coffee blends. The kitchen was filled with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee, and her face lit up when she saw me. "Michael, try this," she said, handing me a cup. "I've been working on a new blend for the workshop." I took a sip, savoring the complex flavors. "This is amazing, Kate. You've outdone yourself." She smiled, clearly pleased. "I'm glad you like it. I've been thinking about incorporating more creative blends into the workshops. It's been so much fun experimenting with different flavors." "I can tell," I said, wrapping my arms around her. "I'm so proud of you." As the weeks went by, Kate's workshops became increasingly popular. People from all over the city attended, eager to learn from her expertise. She was in her element, sharing her passion with others and building a community around something she loved. On Saturday, she invited me to attend one of her workshops. I was excited to see her in action, to witness firsthand the impact she was making. As I entered the cafe where the workshop was being held, I was struck by the energy and enthusiasm in the room. Kate was at the front, demonstrating different brewing techniques and explaining the nuances of various coffee beans. Her audience was captivated, hanging on her every word. I watched with pride as she engaged with them, answering questions and offering tips. During a break, she came over to where I was sitting. "How's it going?" she asked, her eyes shining with excitement. "You're incredible, Kate," I said. "Everyone here is so engaged. You're making a difference." "Thank you," she said, leaning in for a quick kiss. "It means a lot to have you here." As the workshop continued, I found myself learning more about coffee than I ever thought possible. But more importantly, I saw how much joy it brought to Kate to share her knowledge and connect with others. After the workshop ended, we stayed behind to clean up. As we worked, Kate turned to me, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Michael, there's something I've been wanting to talk to you about." "What is it?" I asked, sensing the seriousness in her tone. "I've been thinking about opening my cafe," she said. "A place where I can host workshops, showcase different coffee blends, and create a community space. It's something I've dreamed about for a long time." I looked at her, seeing the passion and determination in her eyes. "That's an amazing idea, Kate. I think you should go for it." "Really?" she asked, her face lighting up. "You think it's possible?" "Absolutely," I said. "You have the talent, the passion, and the drive. I believe in you." Over the next few months, we worked together to bring Kate's dream to life. We found a charming space in a bustling part of town, perfect for her vision. There were endless details to sort out: permits, renovations, hiring staff, but we tackled them one by one, our excitement growing with each step. Throughout the process, we leaned on each other for support and encouragement. It was challenging at times, but we were a team, united by a common goal: us. The opening day approached. We both felt a mixture of nervousness and exhilaration. Finally, the day arrived. We stood outside the newly opened cafe, taking in the sight of the cheerful sign above the door, "Kate's Coffee and Community." The inside was warm and inviting, with cozy seating areas, a small stage for events, and a corner dedicated to Kate's beloved coffee blends. As the first customers walked through the door, I could see the pride and joy on Kate's face. She greeted everyone with a warm smile, making them feel instantly welcome. It was clear that this place was more than just a cafe. It was a reflection of her passion and dedication. Throughout the day, the cafe was buzzing with activity. Friends, family, and new customers alike came to support Kate and experience the unique atmosphere she had created. There were moments of laughter, heartfelt conversations, and the comforting hum of a community coming together. That evening, after the last customer had left and we were closing up, Kate turned to me with a grateful smile. "We did it, Michael. I couldn't have done this without you. You're the one who made this happen," I said, pulling her into a hug. "I'm just happy I could be a part of it." As we stood there, surrounded by the fruits of our labor, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. We had faced challenges and uncertainties, but we had come through them stronger and more united. The cafe was a testament to our journey and to the love and commitment we had worked so hard to rebuild. In the months that followed, Kate's cafe flourished. It became a beloved spot in the community, a place where people came not just for coffee but for connection and inspiration. Kate continued to host workshops and events, sharing her passion and knowledge with others. I found my role in the cafe, helping out whenever I could, and enjoying the sense of community that had formed around us. It was a new chapter in our lives, filled with hope and possibility. One evening, as we were closing up, Kate looked around the cafe with a satisfied smile. "This place has become everything I dreamed of," she said, "and more. It's because of you, Kate," I said. "You've created something truly special." She turned to me, her eyes filled with love. "We did it together, Michael. This cafe is a symbol of our journey, of the love and commitment that brought us here." As we locked up and walked home, hand in hand, I felt a deep sense of peace. Our journey had been filled with challenges, but it had also brought us closer and made us stronger. As we continued to build our future together, I knew that we could face whatever came our way, united by the love and trust we had worked so hard to rebuild. Life at the cafe was thriving, and so was our relationship. Kate's cafe had quickly become a beloved spot in the community, a testament to her hard work and dedication. We had settled into a comfortable rhythm, both at home and in our professional lives. I felt a sense of contentment that I hadn't experienced in a long time. One Friday evening, after closing up the cafe, Kate and I decided to take a walk through the neighborhood. The air was crisp and the streets were alive with people enjoying the start of the weekend. We talked about our plans for the future, dreaming about the possibilities ahead. As we rounded a corner, Kate's phone buzzed with a message. She glanced at it, her face suddenly going pale. "Michael, it's Jason," she said, her voice tinged with disbelief. "What does he want?" I asked, feeling a knot form in my stomach. He says he's in town and wants to meet, she replied, showing me the message. He says it's important. A rush of emotions hit me, anger, fear, and a sense of protectiveness. What do you think? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. I don't know, she said, looking genuinely torn. Part of me thinks we should hear him out, but another part of me is scared of what he might say. Whatever you decide, I'm here with you, I said, taking her hand. We can face this together. After a long moment of contemplation, Kate nodded. Let's meet him. It's better to confront this head on. We arranged to meet Jason at a nearby cafe the next morning. The night was restless for both of us, filled with anxious thoughts and unspoken fears. By the time morning came, I felt a mix of dread and determination. When we arrived at the cafe, Jason was already there, sitting at a corner table. He looked up as we approached, his expression unreadable. Kate and I sat down, and there was an awkward silence before Jason finally spoke. Thank you for meeting me, he said, his voice calm but serious. I know this is unexpected, but I needed to talk to both of you. What is it, Jason? Kate asked, her tone cautious. I've been doing a lot of thinking since Seattle, he began, looking directly at Kate. Seeing you there made me realize how much I've hurt you both. I wanted to apologize sincerely. I never meant to cause so much pain. His words hung in the air, and I could see the conflicting emotions in Kate's eyes. We appreciate the apology, Jason, I said, trying to keep my voice even. But why now? What do you want? I've come to understand that I need to make amends, Jason replied, his gaze shifting between us. I wanted to offer a formal apology and ask for your forgiveness. I know it might not mean much, but it's something I needed to do. Kate took a deep breath, her fingers intertwined with mine under the table. Thank you for apologizing, she said softly, but it doesn't change what happened. We've moved on, and we're focusing on our future. I understand, Jason said, nodding. I just wanted you to know that I'm genuinely sorry, and if there's anything I can do to make things right, please let me know. The sincerity in his voice was undeniable, but it didn't erase the pain and turmoil he had caused. I glanced at Kate, who seemed to be processing everything. We appreciate your apology, Jason, I said finally, but the best thing you can do for us is to respect our boundaries and allow us to move forward without any more disruptions. Jason nodded, a look of acceptance crossing his face. I understand. I wish you both the best, truly. With that, he stood up, offering a small, almost hesitant smile before walking away. The tension in the air seemed to dissipate slightly as he left, and I turned to Kate, who looked both relieved and contemplative. How do you feel? I asked gently. A bit lighter, she admitted. It's strange, but I think hearing his apology helped. It doesn't change what happened, but it feels like a chapter has finally closed. I'm glad, I said, squeezing her hand. We've come so far, and this is just another step in our journey. As we left the cafe, there was a renewed sense of peace between us. We had faced yet another challenge and come through it together, stronger and more united. The weeks that followed were filled with a sense of renewed purpose. Kate continued to pour her heart into the cafe, and I supported her every step of the way. We made a conscious effort to spend more quality time together, nurturing our relationship and creating new memories. One weekend, we decided to take a short trip to the mountains. It was a chance to escape the hustle and bustle of city life and reconnect with nature. We rented a cozy cabin and spent our days hiking, exploring, and simply enjoying each other's company. On the second day, we hiked to a beautiful overlook with a panoramic view of the valley below. As we stood there, taking in the breathtaking scenery, Kate turned to me with a smile. This is perfect, she said. I feel so at peace here. I do too, I replied, pulling her close. It's moments like this that make everything worthwhile. As we watched the sunset over the mountains, casting a golden glow over the landscape, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. We had faced so many challenges, but we had come through them stronger and more connected. That evening, back at the cabin, we sat by the fireplace, talking about our dreams and plans for the future. Michael, Kate said softly, I've been thinking about starting a family. Her words took me by surprise, but in the best way possible. Really? I asked, feeling a rush of emotion. Yes, she said, her eyes filled with love and hope. I think we're ready. We've built something beautiful together, and I want to share that with a child. Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded. I want that too, Kate, more than anything. We spent the rest of the evening talking about our hopes and dreams for our future family. It was a new chapter, filled with excitement and possibility. As we returned to our everyday lives, the prospect of starting a family added a new dimension to our relationship. We continued to nurture our love and support each other, knowing that we were building something truly special. One evening, as we were closing up the calf, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "Michael, there's something I've been thinking about." "What is it?" I asked, curious. "I want to create a special space in the calf for families," she said. "A place where parents can bring their kids, where everyone feels welcome." "That sounds like a wonderful idea," I said, smiling. "It fits perfectly with the community you've built here." We spent the next few weeks brainstorming and planning, and soon the calf had a cozy corner dedicated to families. It became a popular spot for parents and children, adding a new layer of warmth and inclusivity to the space. As we watched the calf thrive and our dreams for the future take shape, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Our journey had been filled with challenges, but it had also brought us closer and made us stronger. As we looked ahead to the next chapter of our lives, I knew that we could face anything together, united by the love and trust we had worked so hard to rebuild. Life had settled into a comfortable rhythm. The calf was thriving, our relationship was stronger than ever, and we were excitedly planning for the future. But just when everything seemed perfect, a storm hit, threatening to unravel all that we had worked so hard to rebuild. One evening, as Kate and I were closing up the calf, her phone rang. She answered it with a cheerful, "Hello," but her expression quickly changed to one of shock and concern. "What? When? Oh my God, is she okay?" she said, her voice trembling. I rushed over, my heart pounding. "Kate, what's wrong?" "It's my mom," she said, tears welling up in her eyes. "She's had a stroke. We need to get to the hospital." We locked up the calf in a hurry and drove to the hospital, the silence between us heavy with worry. When we arrived, we found Kate's father and brother in the waiting room, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. "How is she?" Kate asked, rushing to her father's side. "She's stable for now," he said, his voice shaky. "The doctors are doing everything they can, but it's too early to know the full extent of the damage." Kate's mother had always been a strong, vibrant woman, and the news of her sudden stroke was a devastating blow. We spent the next few days at the hospital, anxiously waiting for updates and trying to support each other through the uncertainty. During this time, the calf was left in the hands of our capable staff, but I could see the strain it was putting on Kate. She was torn between wanting to be by her mother's side and feeling responsible for the calf that had become her second home. "Michael, I don't know what to do," she said one evening, her eyes filled with tears. "I need to be here for my mom, but the calf." "Kate, the calf will be fine," I reassured her, taking her hand. "Your mom needs you right now, and so does your family. The staff can handle things at the calf, and I'll help out as much as I can." Over the next few weeks, we found ourselves navigating a new reality. Kate spent most of her time at the hospital, while I took on more responsibilities at the calf. It was a challenging time, but we leaned on each other for support, determined to get through it together. One afternoon, while I was at the calf, Kate called me. Her voice was a mixture of relief and exhaustion. "Michael, the doctors say my mom is stable and improving. They're optimistic about her recovery, but it's going to be a long road." "That's good news," I said, feeling a wave of relief wash over me. "Take all the time you need with her, Kate. We'll manage here." Despite the positive news, the stress of the situation was taking its toll on both of us. I could see the strain in Kate's eyes, the exhaustion that came from juggling so many responsibilities. I wanted to be there for her, to take some of the burden off her shoulders. One evening, after a long day at the calf, I sat down with Kate and suggested we hire a temporary manager to help out. "You need to focus on your mom right now," I said, "and I want to make sure you have the time and space to do that." Hiring someone to manage the calf temporarily could be a big help. Kate hesitated, clearly struggling with the idea of stepping back. "I don't know, Michael. The calf is so important to me." "I know it is," I said gently, "but your family is important too. This is just temporary until things settle down. You've built an amazing team, and they can handle it." After a moment, she nodded. "Okay, you're right. We need to do what's best for everyone." We found a qualified manager who was able to step in and take over the day-to-day operations of the calf. This allowed Kate to focus on her family without the constant worry about the business. As the weeks passed, Kate's mother began to show signs of improvement. She was moved to a rehabilitation facility, and Kate was able to spend more time at home, though she still visited her mom regularly. The balance was delicate, but we were managing. One night, after a particularly exhausting day, Kate and I sat down for dinner. She looked at me, her eyes reflecting the weight of the past few months. Michael, I don't know how I would have gotten through this without you. You don't have to do it alone, I said, reaching for her hand. We're a team, remember? We'll get through this together. As we navigated this challenging time, I realized how much stronger we had become as a couple. The trials we faced had forged a deeper bond between us, a resilience that allowed us to weather even the toughest storms. Despite the stress and exhaustion, we made an effort to carve out moments of joy and connection. We took long walks, talked about our dreams, and found solace in each other's company. It wasn't easy, but we were determined to stay strong for each other. One afternoon, while visiting her mother at the rehabilitation facility, Kate received unexpected news. The doctors informed her that her mother was making remarkable progress and could potentially be discharged in a few weeks. It was a glimmer of hope that we desperately needed. That evening, we celebrated the good news with a quiet dinner at home. It's been such a roller coaster, Kate said, her voice filled with relief. But I feel like we're finally turning a corner. We are, I said, smiling, and we'll keep moving forward, no matter what comes our way. With Kate's mother on the road to recovery, we began to find a new normal. Kate was able to spend more time at the CAF, and we gradually transitioned back to our regular roles. The experience brought us closer, reinforcing our commitment to each other and our shared dreams. One evening, as we were closing up the CAF, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. Michael, I've been thinking about something. What is it? I asked, curious. All of this has made me realize how precious life is, she said. I want to start our family. I don't want to wait any longer. Her words filled me with a sense of joy and excitement. I feel the same way, Kate. Let's do it. In the months that followed, we focused on our dream of starting a family. We prepared our home, talked about our hopes and aspirations, and embraced the journey with open hearts. It was a new chapter filled with promise and anticipation. Through it all, we remained united, facing each challenge with strength and love. The storm had tested us, but it had also shown us the depth of our resilience and the power of our bond. And as we looked to the future, we knew that whatever came our way, we would face it together, hand in hand. The decision to start a family brought a new sense of purpose and excitement to our lives. Kate and I had weathered many storms together, and the thought of bringing a child into our world filled us with hope and joy. We began to prepare, transforming the spare room into a nursery and talking endlessly about the kind of parents we wanted to be. As the months passed, we focused on making our dream a reality. Kate's mother had made a remarkable recovery, and the CAF was flourishing under our renewed attention. Life seemed to be falling into place, and we were ready for the next step. One sunny afternoon, as we were relaxing at home, Kate emerged from the bathroom holding a pregnancy test, her eyes wide with excitement. Michael, she said, her voice trembling, we're going to have a baby. The words hit me like a wave of pure happiness. I wrapped my arms around her, lifting her off the ground as we laughed and cried together. I can't believe it, I said, my voice choked with emotion. We're going to be parents. The months that followed were a whirlwind of preparations and anticipation. Kate's pregnancy brought us closer than ever as we navigated the ups and downs together. We attended prenatal classes, read countless books, and spent hours daydreaming about our future as a family. Kate's pregnancy was mostly smooth, but there were moments of worry and discomfort. Through it all, I did my best to support her, whether it was by running out for midnight cravings or simply holding her hand during doctor's appointments. Our love for each other and our unborn child grew with each passing day. One evening, as we were sitting on the couch, Kate resting her head on my shoulder, she looked up at me with a soft smile. Michael, have you thought about names? I have, I said, smiling back. What about you? Yes, she said, her eyes sparkling. If it's a boy, I like the name Ethan. And if it's a girl, how about Emma? I love those names, I said, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. Ethan or Emma it is. As Kate's due date approached, we put the finishing touches on the nursery. The room was painted in soft, soothing colors and filled with baby books, stuffed animals, and a crib that we had assembled. It was a labor of love, a space that reflected our excitement and anticipation. One evening, just as we were getting ready for bed, Kate suddenly winced, clutching her belly. Michael, I think it's time, she said, her voice filled with a mixture of pain and excitement. We grabbed the hospital bag and rushed to the car, the reality of the moment hitting us with full force. The drive to the hospital was a blur of excitement and nerves, but we held each other's hands, knowing that we were about to embark on the most incredible journey of our lives. The labor was long and intense, but Kate was a warrior. I stayed by her side, offering words of encouragement and holding her hand through each contraction. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the doctor announced that it was time to push. With a final, powerful effort, Kate brought our baby into the world. The room was filled with the sound of our newborn's cries, and tears streamed down my face as I looked at our beautiful child for the first time. "It's a boy," the doctor said, placing our son in Kate's arms. "Ethan," she whispered, her eyes filled with love and wonder. "Welcome to the world, Ethan." I leaned in, kissing Kate's forehead and then Ethan's tiny head. "He's perfect," I said, my heart overflowing with emotion. "You're both perfect." The days that followed were a blur of joy and exhaustion. We brought Ethan home, introducing him to the nursery we had so lovingly prepared. Our lives were suddenly filled with late-night feedings, diaper changes, and endless cuddles. It was challenging, but every moment was a precious reminder of the love we shared. Our friends and family visited, showering us with love and support. Kate's parents were especially overjoyed, grateful for the chance to become grandparents. The CAF staff pitched in to help, allowing us to focus on our new roles as parents. One evening, after a particularly tiring day, Kate and I sat on the couch, Ethan sleeping peacefully in my arms. "I can't believe he's here," she said, her voice soft with awe. "We're parents." "We are," I said, smiling at her. "And we're going to be the best parents we can be." As the weeks turned into months, we settled into our new routine. Ethan grew quickly, his personality emerging with each passing day. He was a curious, cheerful baby, always eager to explore the world around him. Our bond as a family grew stronger with each new milestone. Kate and I took turns caring for Ethan, supporting each other through sleepless nights and fussy days. Our love for each other deepened, and our hearts swelled with pride and joy as we watched our son grow. One sunny afternoon, as we were taking a walk in the park, Kate turned to me with a smile. "Michael, look at us. We've come so far." "We have," I said, looking at Ethan in his stroller, his chubby hands reaching out to grab the flowers along the path. "And we built something beautiful together." As we continued our walk, I felt a deep sense of contentment. Our journey had been filled with challenges, but it had also been rich with love and growth. We had faced our trials head-on, emerging stronger and more united. The future was bright, filled with endless possibilities and adventures. And as I looked at my wife and son, I knew that whatever came our way, we would face it together, guided by the love that had brought us this far. Ethan was the embodiment of our journey, a testament to the strength and resilience of our relationship. As we moved forward, hand in hand, I knew that our family was the greatest gift of all, a source of joy and inspiration that would light our way for years to come. Life had taken on a new rhythm with Ethan. Every day was an adventure, filled with the joy and challenges of raising a child. Kate and I were in a state of blissful exhaustion, grateful for the happiness our son brought into our lives. The CAF continued to thrive, becoming even more of a community hub, and our little family felt complete. One late afternoon, as the sun cast a warm glow over the CAF, the bell above the door chimed. I looked up from the counter, expecting to see one of our regulars, but instead, I froze. Standing in the doorway, looking around uncertainly, was Jason. He looked different, older, perhaps a bit weary, but it was unmistakably him. My initial reaction was a mix of shock and a flare of anger, but I quickly reminded myself of the peaceful life Kate and I had built. I took a deep breath and walked over to greet him. "Jason," I said, my voice steady, "this is a surprise." "Michael," he replied, a hint of nervousness in his voice. "I hope it's okay that I'm here. I wanted to talk." I glanced over at Kate, who was behind the counter. Her eyes widened when she saw Jason, but she quickly composed herself and joined us. "Jason," she said, her tone neutral, "what brings you here?" "I'm in town for a business trip," he explained, shifting uncomfortably. "I know it's been a long time, but I've been thinking a lot about our last conversation. I realized I never fully made amends for the hurt I caused. I wanted to see how you both are doing and, if possible, make things right." There was a tense silence as Kate and I processed his words. It had been years since the turmoil he had caused in our lives, and we had worked hard to move past it. but seeing him again brought back memories and emotions I had thought were long buried. "I appreciate you coming here, Jason," Kate said after a moment, "but you should know that we've moved on. We've built a life together, and we're happy." "I'm glad to hear that," Jason replied, his expression sincere. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I wanted to offer my apology once more, in person. I truly am sorry for everything." I watched Kate carefully, seeing the conflict in her eyes. She had always been the more forgiving of the two of us, and I knew she would handle this with grace. "Thank you for your apology," she said finally. "It means a lot, but as Michael said, we've moved on, and we're focused on our future." Jason nodded, a look of understanding crossing his face. "I respect that. I'm glad to see you both doing well. It's clear that you've built something beautiful together." There was an awkward pause before Jason spoke again. "Before I go, I'd like to buy a cup of coffee. I've heard a lot about this place, and I'd love to see what you created." Kate and I exchanged a glance, silently agreeing that this small gesture could be a peaceful way to end the encounter. "Of course," I said, gesturing towards the counter. "What would you like?" Jason ordered a coffee, and as Kate prepared it, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure. This man had once been a source of so much pain, but now, standing in our cafe, he was just another customer. It felt like the final chapter was closing, allowing us to fully move forward. When his coffee was ready, Jason took it with a grateful smile. "Thank you, both of you. I wish you all the best." He left the cafe, and the bell chimed softly as the door closed behind him. Kate and I stood there for a moment, letting the reality of the encounter sink in. "How do you feel?" I asked, looking into her eyes. "Relieved, I think," she said, her expression thoughtful. "It's strange, but seeing him again made me realize how far we've come. We're not defined by our past anymore." "I agree," I said, pulling her into a hug. "We built a beautiful life, and nothing can change that." The rest of the evening passed in a blur of activity, but the encounter with Jason lingered in my mind. As I rocked Ethan to sleep that night, I reflected on our journey. We had faced so many challenges, but we had emerged stronger, our love and commitment deepened by the trials we had overcome. A few days later, we received a letter in the mail. It was from Jason. Inside was a short note and a check made out to the cafe. The note read, "Dear Kate and Michael, thank you for allowing me to visit your cafe and for accepting my apology. I wanted to contribute something to the place you built together. I hope this helps in some small way. Wishing you all the best, Jason." We looked at each other, surprised by the gesture. It was a significant amount, enough to make a real difference in the cafe's operations. "What do you think?" Kate asked, holding the check. "I think it's his way of trying to make amends," I said. "We could use it for something meaningful, maybe to expand or add something special to the cafe." Kate nodded. "I think so too. Let's use it to create a family-friendly space like we talked about before, a place where parents can bring their kids, where everyone feels welcome." We decided to invest the money in creating a family-friendly corner in the cafe, complete with a play area for children and comfortable seating for parents. It was a project that brought us closer to our community and reinforced the welcoming atmosphere we had always strived for. The transformation was a success, and the new space quickly became a favorite spot for families. Watching parents and children enjoy the cafe together filled us with a sense of accomplishment and joy. As we stood in the newly renovated area one evening, Kate turned to me with a smile. "This is what it's all about, isn't it? Creating a place where people feel at home, where they can make memories." "It is," I agreed, wrapping an arm around her. "And we've done it together. Our lives had come full circle. The cafe was not just a business, it was a reflection of our love, resilience, and commitment to each other. And as we looked ahead to the future, we knew that whatever challenges came our way, we would face them together with the same strength and love that had brought us this far." Ethan's laughter echoed through the cafe, a sweet reminder of the life we had built. Watching him play, surrounded by the warmth and joy of our community, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, but it had led us to this moment, and I wouldn't change a thing. Kate and I shared a look, knowing that we had weathered every storm and emerged stronger. Our love had been tested and proven, and our future was bright with promise. Together we had created something beautiful, and I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it with the same unwavering love and determination that had brought us to this point. Years passed, and our lives continued to grow and evolve. The cafe flourished, becoming a beloved fixture in the community, and Ethan grew into a curious and bright child, filling our home with laughter and wonder. Kate and I faced each challenge together, our bond growing stronger with each passing day. But as life settled into a comfortable rhythm, an unexpected turn of events put our love and resilience to the test once again. One crisp autumn evening, as we were closing up the cafe, Kate received a phone call. She glanced at the caller ID and answered with a cheerful, "Hi, Dad." But as she listened, her expression changed from joy to shock and then to deep concern. "What? When? Oh my God, is she okay?" Kate's voice trembled, echoing the panic I felt growing inside me. "Kate, what's wrong?" I asked, moving closer to her, my heart pounding. "It's my sister Emily," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "She's been in a car accident. It's serious. I need to get to her." The news hit me like a punch to the gut. Emily and Kate had always been close, and the thought of her being hurt was terrifying. Without hesitation, I wrapped my arms around Kate, offering her whatever comfort I could. "We'll go together," I said. "Let's lock up and head to the hospital." The drive to the hospital was filled with tense silence, punctuated by the occasional gasp or sob from Kate. I reached over to squeeze her hand, trying to reassure her, even though I felt a deep sense of dread myself. When we arrived, we found Kate's parents and her brother, David, in the waiting room, their faces etched with worry and exhaustion. "How is she?" Kate asked, rushing to her father's side. "She's in surgery," he said, his voice shaky. "The doctors are doing everything they can. We just have to wait." Waiting was agonizing. Minutes felt like hours as we sat in the sterile hospital waiting room, hoping for any news. I held Kate's hand, whispering words of comfort and strength, but I knew she was barely holding it together. Finally, a doctor approached us, his expression serious but not grim. "Emily made it through surgery," he said. "She's stable, but it's going to be a long recovery. She sustained multiple injuries, and she'll need a lot of care and support." The relief that washed over us was immense, but it was tempered by the realization of the long road ahead. Emily would need us, and we were determined to be there for her. Over the next few days, Kate and I juggled our responsibilities at the cafe with spending as much time as possible at the hospital. Our staff stepped up in incredible ways, ensuring that the business ran smoothly in our absence. One evening, as we were sitting by Emily's bedside, Kate turned to me, her eyes filled with exhaustion and worry. "Michael, I don't know how we're going to manage everything. The cafe, Ethan, being here for Emily, it's overwhelming." I took her hand, squeezing it gently. "We'll take it one day at a time, Kate. We've faced tough times before, and we've always come through. We'll find a way to make this work." As the weeks turned into months, we settled into a new routine. Emily's recovery was slow but steady, and we balanced our time between the cafe, home, and the hospital. Kate was incredible, managing to be there for everyone despite the immense pressure, but I could see the toll it was taking on her. One evening, after a particularly long day, Kate broke down. "I'm so tired, Michael," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I feel like I'm failing everyone." "I can't be everywhere at once." I held her close, my heart aching for her. "You're not failing anyone, Kate. You're doing everything you can, and that's more than enough. We'll get through this together, just like we always have." We leaned on each other for support, finding strength in our love and commitment. Our friends and family rallied around us, offering help and encouragement. Even Jason, whom we hadn't seen since his visit to the cafe, sent a heartfelt message of support and a donation to help with Emily's medical expenses. Through the trials and tribulations, our love was a constant source of strength. We found moments of joy amidst the chaos, celebrating small victories in Emily's recovery and cherishing the time we spent with Ethan. Our little boy was a beacon of light, his innocence and laughter reminding us of the beauty in life even during the darkest times. As Emily's health improved, we began to see a light at the end of the tunnel. She was eventually discharged from the hospital and moved in with her parents to continue her rehabilitation. The weight of constant worry started to lift, and we slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. One evening, as we were closing up the cafe, Kate looked at me with a tired but genuine smile. "We made it through, didn't we?" "We did," I said, pulling her into a hug. "We always do." The challenges we faced reinforced our belief that we could handle anything life threw at us. Our love had been tested time and again, and each trial had only made us stronger. We had built a life together based on trust, support, and unwavering commitment, and I knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together. As we stood there, holding each other, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. We had overcome so much, and our journey was far from over. But I was confident that with Kate by my side, we could conquer any obstacle. Our love had stood the test of time, and it would continue to guide us through whatever lay ahead. The calf, our sanctuary, was a symbol of our resilience and the life we had built together. It was a place where we had experienced both heartbreak and joy, and where we had grown as individuals and as a couple. And as we looked towards the future, I knew that it would continue to be a place of love, hope, and endless possibilities. Ethan ran up to us, his face beaming with excitement. "Mom, Dad, look at what I made." He held up a drawing of our family, complete with the calf in the background. "It's beautiful, Ethan," Kate said, her voice filled with pride. I looked at the drawing, feeling a rush of emotions. It was a reminder of all we had accomplished and the bright future ahead. "It is," I said, ruffling Ethan's hair. Just like our family, we locked up the calf and headed home, our hearts full of gratitude and love. The road ahead might still hold challenges, but I knew that together we could overcome anything. Our journey had taught us that love, resilience, and unwavering support were the keys to a happy and fulfilling life. As we walked home, hand in hand, I looked at Kate and Ethan and felt a deep sense of contentment. We had built something truly special, and I was excited to see where our journey would take us next. No matter what the future holds, I knew that we would face it together, with love as our guiding light. Life had returned to a semblance of normalcy. Emily was recovering well, the calf was thriving, and Ethan was growing into a bright and curious little boy. Kate and I had found our rhythm again, balancing the demands of work and family with a sense of harmony. But, as often happens, just when things seem to be going smoothly, the past has a way of resurfacing in unexpected ways. One sunny afternoon, as I was working behind the counter at the calf, I noticed a familiar face walk through the door. It was Julie, the barista Kate had met at the Tea and Coffee Festival years ago. She looked almost the same, radiant and confident with an air of sophistication. My heart skipped a beat, memories of the turmoil her presence had once caused flooding back. "Hello, Michael," she said with a warm smile. "It's been a long time." "Julie," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "It has? What brings you here?" "I'm in town for a conference," she explained, glancing around the calf. "I couldn't resist stopping by to see how you and Kate are doing. This place is wonderful." "Thank you," I said, managing a smile. "We've worked hard to make it what it is." Julie ordered a coffee, and as I prepared it, we made small talk. It was polite, but there was an undercurrent of tension, at least on my part. When I handed her the cup, she took it with a grateful nod. "I'm glad to see you both doing well," she said. "I always admire the love you and Kate have for each other." "Thanks," I said, unsure of what else to say. The last time Julie had been part of our lives, it had nearly torn us apart. I didn't want to revisit that pain. Just then, Kate walked in from the back, her eyes lighting up with recognition. "Julie, what a surprise!" She hugged her warmly, and I watched, a knot forming in my stomach. Was Kate truly over everything that had happened? They chatted for a bit, catching up on the years that had passed. Julie mentioned her thriving career in the coffee industry, and Kate shared stories about the calf and Ethan. Despite the initial tension, the conversation flowed easily, almost as if no time had passed. As the afternoon wore on, Julie eventually said her goodbyes, promising to keep in touch. Once she was gone, Kate turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "That was unexpected," she said, "but it was nice to see her. She seems to be doing well." "Yeah," I replied, trying to sound nonchalant. It was good to catch up, but the encounter with Julie lingered in my mind. That night, as we lay in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Kate seemed to sense it and turned to me, her eyes filled with concern. "Michael, what's wrong? You've been quiet since Julie left." I took a deep breath, deciding to be honest. Seeing her brought back a lot of memories. "We've come so far since then, but it's hard not to think about everything that happened." Kate reached out, taking my hand in hers. "I understand. It wasn't easy for either of us, but we got through it, and we're stronger now because of it." "I know," I said, squeezing her hand, "but I can't help feeling a bit anxious." "What if?" She cut me off gently. "Michael, we've built a beautiful life together. We faced that storm and came out stronger on the other side. Julie's presence doesn't change that. We have to trust in what we've created." Her words were a balm to my troubled mind. "You're right," I said, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. "I trust you, Kate. I trust us." We held each other close, the warmth of her embrace calming my racing thoughts. I knew that our love had been tested and had proven to be resilient. We had faced temptation and doubt before, and we had emerged stronger because of it. In the days that followed, life returned to its usual rhythm. The calf bustled with activity. Ethan continued to amaze us with his curiosity and growth, and our family life was filled with moments of joy and contentment. But I couldn't entirely shake the feeling of unease that Julie's visit had stirred. One afternoon, as Kate and I were closing up the calf, she turned to me with a determined look. "I've been thinking," she said, "maybe we should go to that tea and coffee festival again this year." "Really?" I asked, surprised. "What brought this on?" "I think it would be good for us," she explained. "We can face those old memories head on together, and it might be fun to reconnect with some of the people we met back then. We've come a long way, and I think it's time to celebrate that." Her suggestion made sense. Facing our past, rather than avoiding it, could be a powerful way to reaffirm our commitment to each other. "I think you're right," I said, feeling a sense of excitement. "Let's do it." As the festival approached, we made plans to attend, arranging for Ethan to stay with his grandparents for the weekend. It felt like a new chapter was beginning, one where we could look back on our journey with pride and confidence. The festival was a whirlwind of activity, much like it had been years ago. We sampled exotic teas and coffees, attended informative workshops, and reconnected with old acquaintances. To my surprise, Julie was there as well, busy with her booth showcasing her latest coffee blends. When she saw us, she greeted us warmly. "Michael, Kate, it's great to see you here." "It's good to be here," Kate replied, her smile genuine. "We've come a long way since the last time." Julie nodded, her expression thoughtful. "You two have always been an inspiration. It's clear how much you love each other." As the festival continued, we spent time exploring and enjoying each other's company. There were moments of nostalgia, but also a deep sense of appreciation for how far we had come. We were not the same people we had been back then. Our love had grown and evolved, becoming something even more beautiful and resilient. On the final day of the festival, as we watched a stunning sunset together, Kate leaned her head on my shoulder. "Thank you for coming here with me," she said softly. "It means a lot." "I'm glad we came," I replied, feeling a deep sense of peace. It's been a reminder of everything we've been through and how strong we are together. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, I realized that our journey was far from over. There would be more challenges ahead, but I was confident that we would face them together, with the same unwavering love and commitment that had brought us this far. The festival was a testament to our resilience and a celebration of our love. It was a reminder that no matter what temptations or challenges came our way, we could overcome them together. And as we held each other close, I knew that our love would continue to guide us through whatever the future held. The festival had been a cathartic experience for both Kate and me, reminding us of the strength of our bond and the resilience of our love. As we returned to our daily routine, we felt rejuvenated, ready to embrace whatever the future had in store for us. However, life had a way of surprising us in ways we could never have anticipated. One chilly winter morning, as the first snowflakes of the season began to fall, Kate and I sat in the cozy corner of our cafe, sipping on hot chocolate and enjoying the quiet before the usual morning rush. Ethan was at school, and we cherished these moments of peace. "Michael, I've been thinking," Kate began, her voice contemplative. "Do you remember how we always talked about expanding the cafe?" "Of course," I replied, curious about where this conversation was headed. "We've had so many ideas over the years. What's on your mind?" She took a deep breath, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "I think it's time we make one of those ideas a reality. I want to open a second location, something that reflects everything we've learned and built here. A place where families feel just as welcome as they do here." Her words filled me with a mix of excitement and apprehension. Expanding our business was a huge step, but I could see the passion in her eyes. "That sounds amazing, Kate. Do you have a specific location in mind?" "I've been looking at a few spots," she admitted. "There's a charming little building near the park. It has so much potential, and I think it could be perfect for what we have in mind." We spent the next few weeks exploring the possibilities, visiting potential locations, and envisioning what our new cafe could be. It was a thrilling and daunting process, but we were determined to make it work. Our friends and family rallied around us, offering their support and encouragement. One afternoon, as we were finalizing plans for the new calf, we received a phone call from Kate's brother, David. "Hey, you two," he said, his voice filled with excitement. "I've got some news. Sarah and I are expecting." "David, that's wonderful," Kate exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. "Congratulations." "Thanks," David replied, his happiness evident even over the phone. "We wanted you to be the first to know. We're so excited to start this new chapter in our lives." The news of David and Sarah's pregnancy added another layer of joy to our lives. We were thrilled for them and eagerly anticipated the arrival of our new niece or nephew. It was a reminder of the beautiful cycle of life and the importance of family. As we prepared for the grand opening of our new calf, we found ourselves busier than ever. Balancing the demands of our existing calf, the new location, and our family was challenging, but we faced it together, as we always had. The grand opening was a huge success. The new calf, named Haven, quickly became a beloved spot for families and individuals alike. We had created a warm, welcoming environment with a play area for children, cozy seating, and a menu that reflected our love for quality coffee and tea. One evening, after a particularly busy day, Kate and I sat together in the new calf, watching as the last customers left. The soft glow of the lights and the hum of quiet conversation created a peaceful atmosphere. I looked at Kate, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and love. "We did it," I said, taking her hand in mine. "Haven is everything we dreamed it would be." Kate smiled, her eyes shining with happiness. "I couldn't have done it without you, Michael. We make a great team." As the months passed, our lives continued to flourish. Emily made a full recovery, and she often visited us at the calf, helping out and sharing in the joy of what we had created. David and Sarah welcomed a beautiful baby girl, bringing even more love and happiness into our family. Ethan, now growing up fast, often spent time at Haven, helping out in his little ways and charming the customers with his bright smile and infectious energy. Watching him grow and thrive in the environment we had built filled us with pride and joy. One summer evening, as we were closing up Haven, Ethan approached us with a serious expression. "Mom, Dad, can I talk to you about something?" "Of course, sweetheart," Kate said, kneeling to his level. "What's on your mind?" "I was thinking," Ethan began, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Can we do something special for the families who come here? Like a day where everyone can play games and have fun together?" Kate and I exchanged a smile. Ethan had inherited our love for creating community and bringing people together. "That's a wonderful idea, Ethan," I said, ruffling his hair. "We can plan a family fun day and invite everyone. It will be a great way to celebrate the summer and our wonderful community." The family fun day was a huge success. The calf was filled with laughter and joy as families participated in games, enjoyed delicious treats, and made lasting memories. It was a testament to the love and effort we had poured into Haven and our commitment to creating a space where everyone felt welcome and valued. As the sun set on that magical day, Kate and I stood together, watching the families disperse and feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. We had built something truly special, not just a business, but a community, a haven for everyone who walked through our doors. Looking back on our journey, I realized how far we had come. From the early days of our marriage, through the trials and tribulations, to the joy and fulfillment of our present, our love has been the constant guiding force. We had faced challenges and overcome them, growing stronger and more resilient with each passing year. As we stood there, surrounded by the warmth and love of our community, I knew that our journey was far from over. There would be more challenges and more joys, but I was confident that together we could face anything. Our love had stood the test of time, and it would continue to guide us through whatever the future held. Ethan ran up to us, his face glowing with excitement. "Mom, Dad, today was the best day ever. Can we do it again next year?" "Absolutely," Kate said, her eyes filled with love. "We'll make it a tradition." As we walked home that evening, hand in hand, with Ethan skipping ahead of us, I felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. We had built a life filled with love, resilience, and joy, and I knew that no matter what lay ahead, we would face it together, with the same unwavering love and commitment that had brought us this far. Life at Haven settled into a comfortable rhythm. Our second calf became a beloved community hub, and the family fun days became a cherished tradition. Ethan thrived in this environment, growing more confident and sociable each day. Kate and I managed to balance the demands of our business and family, finding joy in both. But as we have learned time and again, life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. It was a busy Friday afternoon at Haven when a new face walked in, a man with an air of quiet confidence and an easy smile. He introduced himself as Mark, a photographer specializing in capturing the essence of local businesses. Kate and I were intrigued by his proposition, a feature on Haven for a popular lifestyle magazine. This could be a great opportunity to showcase what makes Haven special, Kate said, her excitement evident. It's a chance to share our story with a broader audience. I agreed, and we arranged for Mark to spend a few days photographing the cafe and interviewing us about our journey. Mark was professional and charming, putting everyone at ease with his presence. But as the days passed, I couldn't help but notice how much time he spent with Kate. They seemed to share an easy rapport, laughing and talking in a way that made me feel a pang of insecurity. One evening, after a particularly long day, Kate and I sat down to unwind. I decided to voice my feelings, knowing that open communication was key to our relationship. Kate, can we talk about Mark? I began, choosing my words carefully. I've noticed you two spending a lot of time together. I know it's for the project, but I can't help feeling a bit uneasy. Kate looked at me with a mix of surprise and concern. Michael, I didn't realize it was bothering you. Mark is just very passionate about his work, and we've been discussing ideas for the feature. There's nothing more to it, I promise. I trust you, Kate, I said, reaching for her hand. But seeing you so close with him brought back memories of what we went through with Julie. I don't want us to go through that kind of pain again. She squeezed my hand, her eyes filled with sincerity. I understand, Michael. I'm sorry if it seemed like I was getting too close. You're the most important person in my life, and I would never jeopardize what we had. We held each other close, the conversation reaffirming our commitment to one another. I felt a sense of relief, trusting in Kate's reassurance and our strong bond. The following days were busy with preparations for the photo shoot. Mark worked diligently, capturing the essence of Haven and the warmth of our community. As the project neared completion, he approached us with an invitation. I'm hosting a small gallery event next weekend, he said. It's a showcase of my recent work, including the feature on Haven. I'd love for you both to attend. Kate and I agreed, seeing it as an opportunity to celebrate our hard work and enjoy a night out together. On the evening of the event, we dressed up and headed to the gallery, excited to see Mark's work and spend some time together outside of the cafe. The gallery was filled with stunning photographs, each telling a unique story. When we reached the section dedicated to Haven, we were amazed by how beautifully Mark had captured the spirit of our cafe. The images showcased the vibrant atmosphere, the joy of our family's fun days, and the love that permeated every corner. As we mingled with other guests, I noticed Mark approaching Kate, a glass of wine in hand. They chatted amiably, and I decided to give them some space, trusting in the conversation we had. However, as the night wore on, I couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling of jealousy creeping back in. Just as I was about to walk over to join them, I overheard a snippet of their conversation that stopped me in my tracks. Kate, you're an incredible woman, Mark said, his tone earnest. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I can't help but feel there's a special connection between us. Kate's response was firm but gentle. Mark, I appreciate your kind words, but I'm deeply committed to my husband and our family. Michael and I have built a beautiful life together, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Hearing her words filled me with both pride and relief. Kate's unwavering loyalty and love reassured me that our bond was as strong as ever. I approached them, wrapping my arm around Kate's waist and smiling at Mark. Thanks for the wonderful work you've done, Mark, I said, my voice steady. We're pleased with the feature on Haven. Mark nodded, his expression a mix of respect and regret. It was my pleasure, Michael. You two have something truly special. As the event came to a close, Kate and I walked home hand in hand, the cool night air refreshing after the warmth of the gallery. I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the love and trust we shared, knowing that our relationship had withstood another test. Thank you for trusting me, Kate said softly as we reached our front door. I know it wasn't easy, but your faith in us means everything to me. I'll always trust you, Kate, I replied, pulling her into a hug. We face so much together, and I know we can handle anything as long as we're honest and supportive of each other. As we entered our home, I looked around at the life we had built together, Our journey had been filled with challenges, but each one had only made us stronger. The love we shared was our greatest strength, and I knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together. The experience with Mark served as a reminder of the importance of trust and communication in our relationship. It reinforced the bond we had and the commitment we had made to each other. No matter what temptations or tests came our way, I was confident that our love would continue to guide us through. And as we settled into bed that night, I held Kate close, feeling a deep sense of peace and contentment. We had overcome another hurdle, and our love was stronger for it. Our journey was far from over, but I knew that with Kate by my side, we could face anything that life threw at us. The encounter with Mark at the gallery had stirred up a range of emotions for both Kate and me. While it reaffirmed the strength of our bond and the trust we had in each other, it also served as a reminder of the importance of nurturing our relationship and staying committed to each other. As we navigated the days that followed, we found ourselves drawn even closer, determined to prioritize our connection above all else. One evening, as we sat together in the cozy corner of Haven after closing, I turned to Kate with a thoughtful expression. "Kate, do you remember the promises we made to each other when we first got married?" She smiled softly, her eyes reflecting the warmth of the cafe's dimmed lights. "Of course, Michael. We promised to love and support each other through thick and thin, to always be there for one another no matter what." I nodded, feeling a surge of emotion. "Exactly. And I think it's important for us to revisit those promises, to reaffirm our commitment to each other." Kate reached out, taking my hand in hers. "I couldn't agree more, Michael. Our love has been the foundation of everything we've built together, and we need to nurture and cherish it." With that, we began a heartfelt conversation, reflecting on the journey we had been on together, the highs and lows, the joys and challenges. We spoke of the love that had sustained us through it all, the trust that had never wavered, and the deep connection that bound us together. As we talked, I felt a renewed sense of gratitude for the woman sitting across from me, for her unwavering love and support, and for the life we had created together. Kate was my rock, my partner in every sense of the word, and I was determined to cherish and protect our relationship with everything I had. In the days that followed, we made a conscious effort to prioritize our relationship, carving out time for each other amidst the busyness of our lives. We went on long walks in the park, cooked dinner together, and had heartfelt conversations late into the night. It was as if we were rediscovering each other, reaffirming the love that had always been there but perhaps had been overshadowed by the demands of everyday life. One evening, as we sat together on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms, Kate turned to me with a soft smile. "Michael, I love you more than words can express. You're my rock, my anchor in this crazy world, and I'm so grateful to have you by my side." I held her close, feeling a surge of emotion. "I love you too, Kate. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm committed to spending the rest of my life making you happy." In that moment, surrounded by the warmth and love of our home, I knew that our bond was stronger than ever. We had weathered storms together and emerged even more resilient. Our love was a constant guiding light, illuminating the path ahead and filling our hearts with hope and joy. As we drifted off to sleep that night, I felt a profound sense of peace wash over me. Our journey was far from over, but I knew that as long as we had each other, we could face whatever the future held. Our love was a force to be reckoned with, and together, we were unstoppable. The days following our return from our global adventure were filled with a sense of contentment and fulfillment. Our hearts were brimming with memories of the places we had seen, the people we had met, and the experiences we had shared. But amidst the joy of our travels, there lingered a shadow, a reminder of the challenges we had faced and the wounds that still needed healing. As we settled back into the familiar rhythms of home, Kate and I found ourselves grappling with the lingering effects of the traumas we had experienced in the past. The scars left by our previous hardships were slow to fade, and we knew that if we were to truly move forward, we would need to confront the demons of our past and find healing together. One evening, as we sat together in the quiet of our living room, I broached the subject that had weighed heavily on my mind. "Kate, I've been thinking a lot about our past, the pain we've endured, the struggles we faced," I began, my voice quiet but determined. "I think it's time for us to confront those demons head on, to seek the healing we need to move forward." Kate looked at me with a mixture of apprehension and resolve. "I agree, Michael. Our past has left its mark on us, and if we're going to build a future together, we need to confront those wounds and find a way to heal. With that shared understanding, we embarked on a journey of healing, a journey that would take us deep into the recesses of our hearts and souls, where the scars of our past lay hidden, waiting to be uncovered and healed. We began by seeking out professional help, enlisting the guidance of therapists who specialized in trauma recovery. Through hours of therapy sessions, we confronted painful memories, unpacked buried emotions, and learned coping mechanisms to navigate the complexities of our past. But healing wasn't just about addressing the past, it was also about nurturing the present and cultivating a sense of joy and fulfillment in our lives. We made a conscious effort to prioritize self-care and self-love, carving out time for activities that brought us joy and fulfillment, whether it was taking long walks in nature, indulging in creative hobbies, or simply enjoying quiet moments together. As we delved deeper into our healing journey, we found ourselves drawing strength from each other, our love serving as a guiding light through the darkest of times. We held each other through tears and laughter, through moments of doubt and moments of triumph, knowing that together we could weather any storm. One particularly poignant moment of our healing journey occurred during a weekend getaway to a secluded cabin in the woods. As we sat together by the crackling fire, surrounded by the beauty of nature and the warmth of each other's presence, we found ourselves opening up in ways we never had before. With tears streaming down our faces, we shared our deepest fears and insecurities, our most painful memories and regrets. But amidst the pain, there was also a profound sense of relief, a sense of release that came from finally allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and seen, to let go of the burdens we had carried for so long. In that moment of shared vulnerability, we forged a deeper connection, one that transcended the scars of our past and embraced the beauty of our shared humanity. We held each other close, our hearts entwined in a bond that was stronger and more resilient than ever before. As our healing journey continued, we found ourselves experiencing moments of profound transformation and growth. We learned to forgive ourselves and each other, to let go of the past, and to embrace the present with open hearts and minds. We discovered newfound strength and resilience within ourselves, a sense of empowerment that came from facing our demons head-on and emerging stronger on the other side. And as we stood on the threshold of a new chapter in our lives, we knew that our journey of healing was far from over. But with each step forward, we felt a renewed sense of hope and optimism, knowing that as long as we had each other, we could face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and grace. Our journey of healing had been a testament to the power of love. The love that had brought us together sustained us through the darkest of times and guided us toward a future filled with promise and possibility. And as we embraced each other in the glow of the firelight, surrounded by the beauty of the natural world, we knew that our love would continue to be the beacon that lit our path forward, illuminating the way towards a brighter, more hopeful tomorrow. As the season shifted once again, ushering in the vibrant colors of spring, Kate and I found ourselves standing at the precipice of change. Our journey of healing had brought us closer together than ever before, and as we looked toward the future, we felt a sense of excitement and anticipation for the new chapter that lay ahead. One bright and sunny morning, as we sat together in the garden of our home, sipping tea and basking in the warmth of the sun, I turned to Kate with a smile. "Kate, do you ever feel like life is calling us to something more?" I asked, my voice tinged with curiosity. She looked at me, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. "I know exactly what you mean, Michael. Lately, I've been feeling a sense of restlessness, like there's something out there waiting for us, something beyond the boundaries of the life we've built here." I nodded, feeling a sense of resonance with her words. "I've been feeling the same way. It's like there's a whole world of possibilities just waiting for us to explore if only we dare to take that first step." With that shared understanding, we began to explore the idea of embracing change, to step out of our comfort zone and embrace new opportunities that await us beyond the familiar confines of our home. One of the first changes we made was to embark on a new adventure together, a journey of self-discovery and exploration that would take us to far-flung corners of the globe. We packed our bags and set off on a series of travels, immersing ourselves in new cultures, exploring exotic landscapes, and forging connections with people from all walks of life. Our travels took us to the bustling streets of Marrakesh, where we wandered through ancient souks and haggled with local merchants over colorful textiles and handcrafted treasures. We explored the majestic beauty of the Swiss Alps, hiking through snow-capped mountains and breathing in the crisp, clean air of the alpine wilderness. But amidst the excitement of our travels, we also encountered moments of uncertainty and doubt. Moments when we questioned the choices we had made and wondered if we were on the right path. Yet through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to each other, drawing strength from the love and connection we shared. One particularly transformative moment occurred during our visit to an ancient monastery high in the Himalayas. As we sat together in quiet contemplation, surrounded by the breathtaking beauty of the mountain landscape, we felt a sense of peace wash over us, a sense of clarity and purpose that had eluded us for so long. In that moment of stillness, we realized that change was not something to be feared, but embraced, a natural part of the journey of life that held the promise of growth, transformation, and renewal. We vowed to open ourselves up to new experiences, to embrace the unknown with open hearts and minds, and to trust in the wisdom of the universe to guide us on our path. And so, as we journeyed on, hand in hand, heart in heart, we embraced the changes that came our way with courage and grace. We discovered new passions, pursued new interests, and forged new connections with the world around us, knowing that with each step forward, we were growing closer to the people we were meant to be. As the sun set on another day of adventure, we sat together on the banks of a tranquil river, the sound of rushing water soothing our souls. In that moment of quiet reflection, we knew that no matter where life took us, as long as we had each other, we would always find our way home together as partners in love and life. But a transformative odyssey that touched every fiber of our beings. From the moment we set foot in Tokyo, the bustling city pulsating with energy and life, to the tranquil shores of Greece where time seemed to slow down, each experience left an indelible mark on our souls. In Tokyo, amidst the towering skyscrapers and neon-lit streets, we found ourselves swept up in a whirlwind of sights and sounds. From the ancient temples steeped in history to the cutting-edge technology of the modern metropolis, we marveled at the juxtaposition of tradition and innovation. As we sampled the diverse flavors of Japanese cuisine, from steaming bowls of ramen to delicate sushi rolls, we discovered a newfound appreciation for the artistry and craftsmanship that went into each dish. But it wasn't just the sights and flavors of Tokyo that captivated us. It was the people we met along the way, whose warmth and hospitality left an indelible impression on our hearts. From the friendly street vendors who shared their stories over steaming cups of matcha to the elderly couple we met at a traditional tea ceremony, we were reminded time and again of the power of human connection to transcend language and cultural barriers. From Tokyo, we journeyed to the sun-drenched shores of Greece, where the azure waters of the Aegean Sea beckoned us with their siren song. We spent lazy days lounging on the beach, the salty breeze tangling our hair, and the warmth of the sun kissing our skin. As we explored the ancient ruins that dotted the landscape, from the majestic Acropolis overlooking Athens to the crumbling temples of Delphi, we felt a sense of awe and reverence for the rich history and culture that surrounded us. But amidst the beauty and tranquility of Greece, we also encountered moments of challenge and uncertainty. From navigating the labyrinthine streets of the old town and roads to deciphering the cryptic menu at a local taverna, we found ourselves pushed outside our comfort zones, forced to rely on each other for support and guidance. And yet, it was in those moments of struggle that our bond grew even stronger, as we learned to lean on each other and trust in our ability to overcome any obstacle that came our way. As our journey continued, we encountered a myriad of challenges and obstacles that tested our patience and resilience. From missed flights and lost luggage to language barriers and cultural misunderstandings, we faced adversity at every turn. And yet, through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to each other, drawing strength from the love that bound us together. One particularly challenging moment occurred during our visit to Morocco, where we found ourselves hopelessly lost in the maze-like streets of Marrakech. As we wandered through the bustling souks, the narrow alleyways stretching endlessly before us, panic threatened to overtake us. And yet, amid the chaos, we clung to each other, our hands intertwined as we navigated the labyrinthine streets together. But just as despair threatened to consume us, we were reminded of the resilience of the human spirit. As we stumbled upon a hidden gem, tucked away amidst the chaos, a tranquil oasis of calm amidst the hustle and bustle of the Medina. As we sat together in the shade of a centuries-old palm tree, sipping sweet mint tea and listening to the sound of running water, we were filled with a sense of gratitude for the serendipitous moments that had brought us here. And so, as our journey drew to a close and we prepared to return home, we found ourselves filled with a profound sense of gratitude for the experiences we had shared and the memories we had made together. Our journey around the world had been a testament to the power of love and resilience, a reminder that no matter where life takes us, as long as we have each other, we can weather any storm. And as we boarded the plane home, hand in hand, we knew that our greatest adventure was just beginning. Our journey around the world was not merely a series of destinations on a map, but a transformative odyssey that touched every fiber of our beings. From the moment we set foot in Tokyo, the bustling city pulsating with energy and life, to the tranquil shores of Greece where time seemed to slow down, each experience left an indelible mark on our souls. In Tokyo, amidst the towering skyscrapers and neon-lit streets, we found ourselves swept up in a whirlwind of sights and sounds. From the ancient temples steeped in history to the cutting-edge technology of the modern metropolis, we marveled at the juxtaposition of tradition and innovation. As we sampled the diverse flavors of Japanese cuisine, from steaming bowls of ramen to delicate sushi rolls, we discovered a newfound appreciation for the artistry and craftsmanship that went into each dish. But it wasn't just the sights and flavors of Tokyo that captivated us, it was the people we met along the way, whose warmth and hospitality left an indelible impression on our hearts. From the friendly street vendors who shared their stories over steaming cups of matcha to the elderly couple we met at a traditional tea ceremony, we were reminded time and again of the power of human connection to transcend language and cultural barriers. From Tokyo, we journeyed to the sun-drenched shores of Greece, where the azure waters of the Aegean Sea beckoned us with their siren song. We spent lazy days lounging on the beach, the salty breeze tangling our hair, and the warmth of the sun kissing our skin. As we explored the ancient ruins that dotted the landscape, from the majestic Acropolis overlooking Athens to the crumbling temples of Delphi, we felt a sense of awe and reverence for the rich history and culture that surrounded us. But amidst the beauty and tranquility of Greece, we also encountered moments of challenge and uncertainty. From navigating the labyrinthine streets of the old town and roads to deciphering the cryptic menu at a local taverna, we found ourselves pushed outside our comfort zones, forced to rely on each other for support and guidance. And yet, it was in those moments of struggle that our bond grew even stronger, as we learned to lean on each other and trust in our ability to overcome any obstacle that came our way. As our journey continued, we encountered a myriad of challenges and obstacles that tested our patience and resilience. From missed flights and lost luggage to language barriers and cultural misunderstandings, we faced adversity at every turn. And yet, through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to each other, drawing strength from the love that bound us together. One particularly challenging moment occurred during our visit to Morocco, where we found ourselves hopelessly lost in the maze-like streets of Marrakech. As we wandered through the bustling souks, the narrow alleyways stretching endlessly before us, panic threatened to overtake us. And yet, amid the chaos, we clung to each other, our hands intertwined as we navigated the labyrinthine streets together. But just as despair threatened to consume us, we were reminded of the resilience of the human spirit. As we stumbled upon a hidden gem, tucked away amidst the chaos, a tranquil oasis of calm amidst the hustle and bustle of the Medina. As we sat together in the shade of a centuries-old palm tree, sipping sweet mint tea and listening to the sound of running water, we were filled with a sense of gratitude for the serendipitous moments that had brought us here. And so, as our journey drew to a close and we prepared to return home, we found ourselves filled with a profound sense of gratitude for the experiences we had shared and the memories we had made together. Our journey around the world had been a testament to the power of love and resilience, a reminder that no matter where life takes us, as long as we have each other, we can weather any storm. And as we boarded the plane home, hand in hand, we knew that our greatest adventure was just beginning. Brewing Betrayal, a tale of love and deceit at the Tea and Coffee Festival. Grounds for Heartbreak, a story of infidelity amidst aromatic brews 3. Steeped in betrayal when love goes cold at the Tea and Coffee Expo 4. Percolating lies a husband's journey through the bitter taste of betrayal. 5. Roasted Romance, a husband's awakening to love's dark brew 6. Infused in Deception, a husband's tale of betrayal amidst coffee and tea 7. A Cup of Treachery, love lost and found at the Tea and Coffee Fest 8. Bitter Beans and Broken Hearts, a husband's tale of betrayal 9. Sipped Secrets, unraveling the betrayal at the Tea and Coffee Fair 10. Brewed Betrayal, a husband's journey through the tangled web of infidelity. When Kate's secret relationship with Jason, the charismatic barista she met at the Tea and Coffee Festival, shattered our trust, our world crumbled. Amidst the wreckage of betrayal, we embarked on a tumultuous journey of heartache and healing. Through tears and tough conversations, we fought to salvage what remained of our love, determined to overcome the rift that threatened to tear us apart. The festival that once brought us joy became a crucible, testing the resilience of our bond. In the end, battered but unbroken, we emerged, ready to face the future together, knowing that our love had weathered the storm. 1. Wife cheating was uncovered when I stumbled upon her secret messages with Jason, the barista from the tea and coffee festival. 2. Wife cheating came to light when I accidentally overheard her phone conversation with Jason, revealing their intimate connection. 3. My wife's cheating was exposed when I found incriminating photos of her and Jason hidden in her phone. 4. Wife cheating was discovered when a mutual friend inadvertently revealed Kate's affair with Jason during a casual conversation. 5. Wife cheating was brought to my attention when I noticed suspicious charges on our credit card statement, leading me to investigate further. 6. Wife cheating became apparent when I noticed her increasingly secretive behavior, prompting me to dig deeper into her activities. 7. Wife cheating was unveiled when I found a love letter from Jason hidden among her belongings, exposing their forbidden romance. 8. Wife cheating was revealed when I caught her in a lie about her whereabouts during the tea and coffee festival, sparking my suspicions. 9. Wife cheating was unmasked when I noticed her growing emotional distance and realized something was amiss in our relationship. 10. Wife cheating came crashing down on me when Jason himself confessed their affair, leaving me shattered and betrayed.